Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Clancy, thank you for your testimony. I want to return to what you said earlier about meeting with your senior staff and not asking what they knew. When did that happen?
Sir, it happened, and forgive me, sir, my memory with everything else that's converging, somebody can, Wednesday. Wednesday, yeah, so.
Wednesday, what day?
That would have been the 11th.
All right, so you met with your senior staff, but you waited until Wednesday to meet with your senior staff when you were informed of this on the 9th? Why would you wait 2 days to meet with your senior staff?
Yeah, I had a hearing on the day in between,
I have hearings every single day. It doesn't preclude me from asking detailed questions like that.
Forgive me, sir, let me correct the record. I did not have a hearing. I don't know what my schedule was, what I was doing on Tuesday.
So why did you wait 2 days? Yeah. Was it not important to you, Mr. Clancy?
No, as I expressed earlier, this is hugely important to me and to the agency.
All right, so why did you said earlier you didn't ask a question what they knew. Right. Well, you're not interfering with an investigation for you to be informed of what they knew. That wouldn't have interfered with the investigation. Why wouldn't you have asked the question? Is it so that you could pull a Sergeant Schultz here today that you know nothing? I don't understand.
No, in fact, when I pulled that group together, this hearing was not scheduled. I did that because, again, it's probably hard to understand for this committee.
It is very hard for Mr. Lynch and I to understand how there would be a lack of inquisitive nature on why the director would not want to know.
Yeah. To be candid, I compartmentalized this incident. I gave it to the OIG so that I could concentrate on, I have protectees all around the world, classified documents I have to keep up with, President of Afghanistan. I've got all these other issues that really I need to focus on today and future threats. And this, in my mind,
well, the president of Afghanistan may be very important, and indeed he probably is, but the president of the United States is a lot more important, and I wouldn't compartmentalize and put that somewhere else, would you?
All of our protectees are important, but certainly this, in my mind, I gave it to the OIG, and I was content to wait until we get all the facts and not do things piecemeal, because I thought that was a dangerous path to take, to do things in a piecemeal fashion. Because as information starts to leak out, and information would have started to leak out, people would start...
So keeping these guys there working on administrative duties, do you not think that they have the ability to talk to some of their fellow workers and spin a different narrative instead of sending them home as Mr. Lynch had suggested? Do you think it's not dangerous that they might interfere with the investigation?
They could still converse, in my view, at their residences with anyone they wanted to. So keeping them...
So you haven't told them not to converse and tell a different story?
I haven't spoken to those individuals.
So these are GS-15, and you haven't spoken to them. Why?
The two individual...
Right. Yeah, why have you not spoken to them?
I didn't want to, again, interfere with the investigation. One is an SES, and one is a...
Mr. Clancy, you were hired to clean up the mess.
Yes.
And you and I have met personally
yes.
Before you were actually the official director. And I told you about a number of things where I was actually getting emails.
Yes.
And I still get emails, anonymous emails on all kinds of different things that are happening. Details in Honolulu where we've had some of the same accusations made that have been made in other parts of the country. Details where people have actually had major offenses and then were left within the Secret Service and allowed to retire a year later. What are you going to do? Because I ask you specifically about forced transfers and how the threatening of taking away their security clearance for some of the rank and file, and yet nothing has been done with that, Mr. Clancy. Are you going to act on that eventually?
Yes, in terms of threatening to take away their clearances, I understand that was in a letter that went out to people when they were routinely, we move people around the country. And it is...
It's used as a force of manipulation for most of the rank and file, at least that's the way they see it. And so are you going to make sure that they know that their security clearance will not be taken away?
Right.
Pure and simple, yes or no?
the security clearance is not taken away as long
If
as
they decide not to transfer, you're not going to affect their security clearance.
You can't do that, Congressman. We need to have people, for example, now the President's detail needs additional personnel. So we have to move people from the field offices to the President's detail. If they say, no, I don't want to go to the President's detail, now we're short on the President's detail. So we have to, it's the nature of our business, and they're informed of that when they're hired.
You know, this sounds like just the same old problem that we had under the previous director, Mr. Clancy, and I'm very troubled. I'll yield back.
Yes, sir.
Thank the